Hey, another thing separate from daylight savings time is you see these drones over New Jersey.
I mean, I haven't personally seen them, but there's some crazy stuff going on.
Dude, I've seen countless videos. I don't know what's AI anymore. I don't know what's real anymore. Side note, one of the OpenAI employees was found dead, the whistleblower. So that's a whole separate topic we don't need to get into, but that
OpenAI is just insane. He said it's a nonprofit, and now how do you take a nonprofit for profit? Like,
oh yeah, and
what?
It's making quite a bit of profit.
That's like if right now we were like, we're gonna just change River Valley and just change it to be a for-profit company.
It's got to be illegal.
Has to be.
I don't know, but I would say they've been making some profit for a while.
Yeah.
But
he said, I'm never going to do that. And now he's doing it. And he's like, oh, he's going to be worth $14 billion.
I think Elon Musk, who was the original investor into OpenAI,
he's calling him out.
He said, yeah, Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, that it was his plan the entire time. He doesn't believe him for 1 second that it was supposed to be.
Back to the drones.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Back to the drones.
I think many of the sightings are not actual drone sightings, but I think there are legit drone stuff. And then Trump just addressed it.
I saw
and
that.
he said, I'm not going up there. I'm like, if the president-elect who gets the security briefings is not going,
cancels his
plans to go up there, that means something's going on.
But so just for anybody that, has not seen or heard anything about the drones, more and more people are witnessing and taking video of hundreds of drones. Started in New Jersey, I think Maryland. I think it's been across multiple states now, and on both coasts of the United States. But I think primarily the East Coast.
I think most of them are not the actual drones that are being talked about.
Yeah, you're saying like maybe AI or maybe
no. I'm saying like people like there are like just drones
like
that are flying. People's personal drones. There's people that don't know planes. Like one video that was posted, like, dude, that's just plane traffic. You know?
That's just a plane.
But I believe. And again, I'm no expert on this, but I believe that there are suspicious, mysterious drones in New Jersey. Some of the other places, I feel like I don't know that those are suspicious.
I think when most people use the word drone, we think like, oh, like the toy that some teenagers have, like a little drone. No, these drones that have been the specific ones that they talk about in New Jersey are the size of SUVs,
like UAV type military.
They're like huge military grade, and the government's kind of been silent about it.
Kind of.
What Trump said was, he's like, the government for sure knows about it.
And he said, I think they should tell people, but they said they're not going to tell people.
They're not going to tell people. And he said, it's not an enemy.
Right.
Because otherwise we would have shot him down. Like, we're not going to let an enemy hover over our...
But how crazy
except the Chinese balloon that floated over Alaska and our entire country. But that's a separate topic.
How crazy that Trump is the president-elect, and he's speaking on behalf of everyone. Like, nobody in the current administration is saying anything. And he's like, yeah, I know what it is. I can't really say because I'm not quite the president yet, but like, they should be telling people. It's just funny how it almost is like he's the president, even though he's not.
But I feel like... there's a couple theories like, oh, maybe the drones are looking for a dirty bomb, or maybe there's a nuclear threat, a submarine that's a little too close to the country, and so we're preparing for the first time drone defenses, ready for that. Like, but I feel like the door is open even after the Trump statement for a little bit of like, we know it's not the enemy, we know it's not us, our military. We know it's not just
we know it's not our military.
Well, I'm saying that's what he was saying.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, he said the government knows what it is and they're just not saying it, and it's not our enemy. So maybe it is our military.
Yeah, I didn't think he said it wasn't our military.
Okay,
I don't know.
I think the door is open. Correct me if I'm wrong. To like, is it otherworldly? Is it, I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying nobody's counted that out. Another theory is Elon Musk hasn't said anything about it, at least that I haven't seen. And he's got all these government contracts. So maybe it is our government. I don't know.
I think it is our government and military looking for something or analyzing something, doing some sort of test that is classified. But I think it's so public that they probably should say something. But at the same time, Think about this. We have unidentified flying objects over New Jersey, near New York. I mean, every movie is about like, every TV show. There's a weapon of mass destruction in New York City, and what, like, it's all happening there. And for the most part, people are just they're fine. Like nobody's
Living
revolting
life.
against the government. I mean, you talk about like when they, the insurrection against the Capitol. Like, tell us what's going on. Americans are so used to crazy news like this. Really, like this is legitimate news, and people are just like, yeah, I mean, I guess the government isn't telling us. Like, what?
Didn't they also say they tried to use anti-drone technology to basically, like, I don't know, jam their computers and like make them, because they have that technology to kind of I don't know what they're shooting,
Yeah,
some
like
type
counter
of
radar or
radio
something, yeah.
wave or radar stuff that would cause a drone, and that counter mechanism
It's hard to
didn't
know
work.
what's true.
Yeah.
It's hard to know what's true. I did see a police sheriff that was reported through a reporter. I didn't hear him say it. That said, that they've tried to fly their drones up to it, and when they got close, those drones flew away. But I don't know. People are like, what do we think about it? Do we think they're aliens and UFOs?
Okay, so here's the question. Should Christians believe in aliens or UFOs? And I'll play this clip and then we can talk about that. Because people have asked this question before and it's been asked multiple times, and I feel like it's a hot topic of conversation. And now that there's drones flying all over our country, thousands of them potentially, what in the outer space is going on? And so let's watch this clip. This is from Josh Howerton talking about should Christians believe in aliens. Here we go.
Okay, tinfoil hat take on Christians and aliens incoming. Don't write me off here. Okay, so government officials testified this week about documented UFO sightings in the sky, but also in the ocean underwater. So here's the question, Pastor Josh, do you believe in the possibility of aliens? Well, here's what I for sure believe in. The possibility of demons posing as aliens. All right, 2 creepy facts from the Bible on this. So they testified to UAPs, that's unidentified anomalous phenomenon, in 2 places. Number 1 in the sky, number 2 in the ocean. Well, number 1, Ephesians 2:2 calls Satan and demons, quote, the prince of the powers of the air. You say, yeah, Josh, but what about him being in the ocean? Well, when Jesus cast demons into pigs in Matthew 8, they immediately ran underwater into the Sea of Galilee. But also, when Revelation 13 describes Satan and demonic forces rising at the end of time, guess where it says they rise from?
It says, I saw a beast rising out of the sea. All right, that's the clip. Any thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have any reason to believe that aliens are real, and I don't know. I feel like the sea thing. Revelation is a very hard book to understand, and it's hyperbole. The sea can represent a lot of different things. I'm probably too much of a like. Those things just don't.
Okay, so I'm on the same page. I don't believe there are aliens, but I do believe there are demons.
Right.
And
Do those pose as aliens? Are you saying?
yeah, like his take on that, I think he's saying he says he believes that there are demons and they could pose as like, we don't know what to call them, but we're seeing them, witnessing them. What is that thing? What's going on? And those drones, the drones in New Jersey, they literally said have been coming off of the ocean. Like, we don't know where they're coming from. At least some of the witnesses have said that. So,
One of the things that I think is so interesting is I talked to Joe Anderson. Joe's part of our church, an evangelist. He's preached before. Had him on some Talking Church episodes. He was talking about the demonic, and one of the things that stuck out to me is he said he dealt with a lot of this demonic possession in his family, and he said the biggest thing I realized with the demonic was it was a distraction. It was a distraction away from the things that God wanted you to do. And I think a lot of times we think about demons as this evil, like insidious horror movie character of, ooh, I'm going to get you. But like you read the Screw Tape Letters, I think C.S. Lewis does a great job articulating that. It's just distracting us away. And so do I think that the demonic is always this evil, spooky, horrible presence? I mean, I think there's reality. I've been around demonic activity, and it is spooky, but I think it's more so because it's absent of the presence of the Lord. Like, it's this competing spiritual force. But I think more than that, it is distracting us away. So aliens, that type of thing, I don't put too much energy and effort around it because I think it's a distraction to the real good. I mean, the world is challenged right now. There was just a school shooting again. There was just all, and I don't mean to like repurpose it so much, but I just think the demonic activity, it's there to distract us and pull us away. And if it's going to distract us down a rabbit hole of aliens, or going to distract us with, these kind of spooky demonic things with the door shutting and all that thing, those things I think are real distractions.
Yeah.
But the same can be true with the distraction on our phone and the distraction in our life away from the true purposes God has called us to. And so that's just kind of my frame of reference whenever I think about other life, or are they demons posing? What are these UFOs? What is this? It's not affecting my life. So I guess I am kind of that bystander that I just talked about. That's like, cool, no big deal to me, because I got plenty of real things to worry about. And again, not that that's not real, but it's not right in front of me right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think what you're kind of talking about is what we talked about this weekend. We do not believe in dualism. Light is not equal forces as dark. And when we start to fantasize or get distracted around what if this, what about this, when you're talking about, I don't know, extraterrestrial life or demonic forces. What's that voodoo or that witchcraft or that thing or that curse or that, another thing we could talk about is the Satanists put up an art display in the Minnesota Capitol. And is that something for Christians to get all worked up about? What should we do? Should we go dismantle it? Well, that's against the law. Should we go put up a nativity scene in competition with them? And I think part of the point is I think it's fine to go pray or pray against that, or to ask the Holy Spirit to flood the Capitol. It's for those forces or those energies to be dismantled, for Satanists to lose traction in our state or in our government, all that. Like, I think that's fine. And I think it's fine to talk about. I think even playing that clip and having a conversation is fine to talk about, as long as we don't believe that light is equal forces to dark. No, the reason you can go live your life in light of the drones in the sky is because I am unafraid of any of that. That he who lives in me is more powerful than he who lives in the world. By an infinite measure, that Christ in us is so much more powerful. The light of Jesus Christ is so much more powerful than the dark. And so I will say, though, the ocean is creepy, bro.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And outer space, probably just as much.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I've been out on a cruise ship before, and I'm like, dude, the ocean is way creepy.
No doubt.
I think there's some validity to the point of like a beast coming out of the sea and Prince of the Power of the Air, where, dude, I don't know. It does get creepy out there.
Totally. But I think what you're alluding to and what you talked about this weekend, some of us think that if we get a little bit too close over here to the side of evil, that it's going to overcome all of the things that God has done in our life. And it's only because we're choosing that. The power of evil cannot overcome. And I think that's the truth of Scripture. That's the truth of our faith. You talk about the Satanist display. I've changed my tune a lot over the past few years, even post-COVID, because I think so many people love everybody, tolerance, all that stuff. Okay, love everybody, yes, but that doesn't mean I should be tolerant.
Yep.
If you love your kids, should you just be tolerant of their behavior? If they talk back to Kaylee, are you just going to be tolerant and say, well, I'm just trying to be tolerant? No, you love them so much that you're going to teach them that that's the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And in our society, we have to love people so much to say that's wrong. Yeah. That's leading you to death. That's leading you to wickedness. This Satanist display in the Capitol, we say, oh, well, if they have that, sure, maybe we should be allowed to have a nativity scene in the Capitol, but we shouldn't be able to take that down. I don't think we should go take it down by force. I don't think that's the right thing. But some ideas are bad ideas. Some ideas are wrong ideas. People would obviously protest, as they should, if there was a Nazi statue in the Capitol because it represents something.
Yeah, and is Satan not worse than the Nazis?
Right.
He is.
Yes, totally.
What are we
totally.
even talking about?
But it's this cognitive dissonance to where, no, I just want to allow everybody to do their thing, and then by me doing my thing, hopefully that's good enough to win over other people. If that's all the gospel was, that's part of the gospel. But if that's all the gospel was, then why would Peter and Paul and all these people give their life to proclaim the gospel to places that have never heard? If they just said, let's be such a great society here in Israel, let's make Jerusalem and convert all the Jews in Jerusalem, and so that the other nations can then copy us if they hear about it. That wasn't their message. It was, I'm going to go into the heart of Ephesus, into the heart of Athens, into the heart of Rome, and I'm going to preach the gospel and say, what you're doing is wrong, and there's a better way. And by my fruit, I'm going to show you that. But I think that so many of us, it's like, this Satanism statue, as long as they allow us to do it. There is a statue of Satan in our Capitol, and we're just like,
yeah, I think it's like some type of bird, and like it's like.
But I'm saying it's representative of the Satanists.
No, it's definitely to worship Satan. It's definitely to glorify Satan, and I'm against everything Satan stands for.
Well, but a lot of people at the Capitol aren't, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, and I don't even see it as a free speech issue. I literally see it as pure evil. Satanism is pure evil, and it should be stopped at all costs.
Right. And people like, well, you believe Christianity and they believe Satanism. Yeah, I believe to love your neighbors yourself, to die to yourself, to serve others. Christianity is the only major religion of the world that the virtue of forgiveness is a core component.
Yeah.
Forgiveness doesn't exist in other religions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better way
Yeah.
to forgive. You know,